All right, let's make a video. So, previously we have pressure washed and cleaned the block. So, I'm going to need to kind of gently surface this, mating surface, the deck here. I'll just get that all cleaned up. We're going to hone the cylinders a little bit. We're not going to take too much off. We're just going to put a fresh cross hatch on it. We have a windage tray right here, a new windage tray, and a gasket kit for the engine with head bolts. Everything is clean. Yes, sirree. We got the old head bolts that we are not going to use, but all the other bolts are cleaned and down there and organized. Crank's been cleaned. Pistons are all nice and cleaned up. Yeah, aren't they pretty? Ring grooves have been cleaned out. We have rings. We have a new oil pump. We have a rear seal. Here is the oil pump that came out of it. Now, I doubt this oil pump is bad, but I'm going to refresh the motor. So because they decided to start putting the oil pumps around the front of the crank, you can't just, replace your oil pump like, well, I don't know, like a big block 383 where the oil pump is right on the outside of the block. I don't know. These engineers these days got to make things complicated. Oil pickup. The screen, nice and clean. Everything's clean. And what else? These are the heads that came off. Got a drop valve seat in one of them, and one of them is still probably good. The heads are still on the other engines out there. I need to pull those off. After I pull those off, we'll go through those heads that are on the other Jeep. Then we will decide which head we're going to clean up and which ones we're going to use. Probably going to go ahead and use that one because I don't think there's anything wrong with it. That's the one with the bad valve seat. So let's get started. I don't have any other lubricant except for this. I think this will be just fine to lubricate that cylinder with. Going to use my cheap drill. And I don't have a dingleberry hone, but before the dingleberry hones, there was stone hones. Now, to get the best crosshatch pattern you can get, you want the drill to go slow, okay? You don't want to be zinging it and sending it home. So you go slow, and then you go in and out really fast, okay? Slow on the motor speed, fast on your reciprocating motion, okay? So let's try it. All right, well, let's get a rag. Wasn't too prepared. So now you take your rag, you go in, you wipe her down. And you check out your crosshatch. Hole number 2. See that? Nice little crosshatch pattern. Okay, so we just continue. All right. So you guys probably all seen one of these before, correct? Okay. Now when I start to use this, the air compressor is going to go off and make it hard for me to talk. So you probably lose your sound. Anyway, what I have on here is just basically the same as the Scotch-Brite. It's the same stuff. It doesn't take off much material, but you still got to be careful, right? Okay, here we go. Let the compressor compress. Oh, it's a good thing that thing stopped. I was about ready to unplug it. Okay, again, we did not use sandpaper to clean the deck, okay? You do not want to use sandpaper unless you're a professional and you've cleaned these before without taking metal off. You don't want to, especially right here, you don't want to take metal off. You don't want to take metal off between these cooling jackets and the sealing surface of the head gasket. So basically, I was using Scotch-Brite on a wheel, Scotch-Brite wheel. You know, the thing. You know, the thing. So it's all nice and cleaned up. We got the front too. We got a little bit of something still hanging on right there, don't we? I think I can get that off with my hand. Anyway, so yeah, clean your surfaces, your gasket surfaces and stuff. Use a Scotch-Brite wheel, not sandpaper. No, no, no. Don't use sandpaper unless you got the Midas touch. All right, I'm looking for something. I don't even know what it is I'm looking for. We'll be right back. So for example, the Scotch-Brite wheel it's great for cleaning, you know, if it doesn't have too much stuff on it. But like this still has the rubber gasket that the Scotch-Brite just didn't want to take off. So then you just take your flat razor and get the rest of that off of there like that. And then maybe I'll break out that cleaning disc again and go over it, but I don't think that's necessary. Yeah, see, there's just a little bit right there. Just take a nice straight razor, flat razor, scraper, and just get the rest of the stuff that wheel didn't get. You don't want to overdo it. Just be careful. You don't want oil leaks or head gasket leaks, coolant leaks. She's gonna be a leaker if you take too much off. I know some of you guys are saying, but that's what silicone is for. Well, you may be right in some certain circumstances. Oh, my engine paint's here. Right on. Hey, how you doing? Paint. Yeah. I like that VHT. It's been working out well for me. Okay. What I want is one piston and a set of rings. Guess what we're gonna do, guys? Set of rings, piston, one piston. That's all I need for this application. And we are gonna need feel gauge. Let's see, is this gonna go small enough? Yeah, sure will. Yes, sir, boys and girls, we are gonna check our ring end gap. Made in USA. You don't see that anymore. All right, here we go. All right, what is our ring end gap? Okay, accessed end gap isn't critical unless it's greater than 4 thousandths. Double check. that's 40 thousandths. 0.40 is 40 thousandths. Gentlemans. Okay, let's grab one of these old rings. I can show you how this works. So you want to just set your ring in there, turn it, and then take a piston and just kind of tap that down to right around the middle of the cylinder. That's probably where it's going to have the least amount of wear. So now we're going to check the end gap. These are not the rings I'm going to use. I'm just checking to see what these ones were for my own peace of mind. Here's 5. All right, that's an old ring. That one had quite a bit of end gap play. Let's get a new set and we will compare. Alright, these are the oil rings. I can already see a difference. Look at the size difference of these. These are not going to work. These are the wrong rings. Uh-oh, wrong rings. Well, those aren't going in today. I got no plastic gauge and I got no rings to assemble, so well, all right, let me go check and see which rings I did order. Okay, you professional engine builders out there, I got a question for you. All right, these are the... Damn it, Jim. Okay. So, these are the new rings. Okay. This is an old ring. Look how much bigger the old ring is than the new ring. Okay. That's one thing. And this was for top groove. This is for second groove, and it's the same size as this one. Okay. Now, look at the size difference. These are the old ones, right? So this one has, it's thinner than this one. These are not marked, and I didn't check them because I didn't notice that they were a different size. So they're not marked on the ends what's top ring and what's bottom ring, but clearly they're different sizes that came out of the engine. All right, so here's the wider rings, here's the thinner rings. Both of these rings, the new ones, are the same size, and I just rechecked the numbers, and these are supposed to be for a 4.7. But look how tiny they are, okay? The other thing is, I don't know if you can see it, but there's a notch, a chamfer or something on the outer edge of this ring, okay? So I'm pretty sure that would go down on a, you know, in the application. So is this the second ring or is this the first ring? Also, there's supposed to be a chamfer on the inside that goes down. This ring has no chamfer on the inside. These ones do, both sets. This one, out of the old one, okay, it does have a chamfer on the inside. Not on this side. Wait a minute, is that? Let me check my eyeballs. My eyes ain't so good anymore, even though I even got my glasses on. Okay, I don't know. This one looks like it has a chamfer, but even with my glasses on, I still can't see. Yeah, that's definitely a chamfer. Okay, so this one's chamfered. This is going to be, you know, going down. At least that's what the book says. But the book doesn't say anything about the size of the ring. Okay, different note. Now here's a new ring on the inside of my cylinder in the middle. Okay, the new ring is 23. Okay, slides in. You can barely feel a pull. Barely. Now the old one, okay, new ring, old ring, and we'll just go with the ones that are kind of even. These are even smaller. The new rings are even smaller than the, do I trust this? Do I trust that, really? Why can't we get what we pay for? That's not what I paid for. I paid for this. Anyway, at least that's what I thought I was paying for. So let's go ahead and we'll put this ring in. Now these ones, at least this one here, was 17. See that? How are the old rings tighter than the new rings? The new ring is 23. The old ring is at 17. I don't get it. Are these not the rings, even though they say they are? New ones. Okay, they slide in nice and neat. No, just barely, you know, anyway. They go in there fine, but they dive way down deep inside. Huh. I'm wondering, okay, do these have a chamfer on the bottom? See these new... Anyway, get in there. Get in the hole. This is going to be your home if you turn out to be the right one. See, obviously I can squeeze these all the way down. All right, well, I don't know. I mean, they'll probably work. But why are they so skinny? Is that so you don't get the miles out of them and they wear out much faster and you got to replace them faster? That's not cool. That is not cool, man. I mean, how much more is it just to give me what the factory gave me? Okay, anyway, I'm done being upset. Okay, so the old ring have a tighter ring gap, end gap, than the new ones. Which only tells me don't get the engine hot and don't put a turbo on it. Don't throw a 671 on here. And the outside diameter, let's just put these in here 2 at a time. See the difference? See, the new ring is on the top and how much thinner it is. I don't know, maybe I need to pull you off. See that? The new ring on the top that's got to be 20 thousandths of an inch smaller. What does that mean? Does it mean anything? It probably doesn't, as long as it still has the good spring, as long as it's pushing out on the cylinders. Wow. Huh. Okay. Maybe I'm just freaking out for nothing. I just, you know, I like things being like for like. When I buy a new set, I want the new set to look like the old set, you know, at least in the dimensions and what they're made out of. You know, that's so much larger than the rings that they sent. And why is the end gap so much larger on the new ones? I wonder if they just thought that somebody's just going to throw these things in there and just send it, and they wanted to be safe. And so they make those with a large end gap. You know, I'm sure it's going to run, and it's going to run fine. It is just a refresh. I'm not rebuilding it. It's not getting bored. But, you know, I'd like to get another 150 out of it, if I could. Be nice without having to rebuild it again. Anyway, maybe I'm just redundant. Okay, what do you guys think? These rings are Engine Tech, made in USA. And they're supposed to be made for my 4.7. Crikey. Anyway, no biggie. They're probably just maybe they're high RPM rings, and they lightened them up so that you can get more RPMs out of the engine. Weight reduction. Okie doke. I'm not an engine builder. Mainly I just refresh. So, fine. Maybe I'll just go ahead and reuse those. What do you guys think? Should I reuse the factory rings? The ones with the tighter end gap? These ones are at between 17 and 20. The new ones are between, what was it, 23? And I haven't even checked, you know, all of them. I just checked one, and it was at 23. And these were 20, and these ones were 17. Great. I'd probably get more miles out of there. Ah! Shut up! You will not interrupt. Anyway. Nice and springy, those ones still, too. Wow. Okay. Yeah, this is baffling. Should I use the new ones, or should I go ahead and just throw the old rings back in? Clean them up, throw them back in. I've already cleaned the pistons and the groove, so that's ready to go. See, they're ready. Everything's ready to go. You're a bad engine. You're a 4.7. You're crappy too. But you're all I got. All right, you guys, take it easy. All right, we're back in the garage. Okay, I was talking with my neighbor, and he says that these rings, the new ones, should be fine, even though they are thinner. Even though the end gaps are a little bit larger. He says the end gaps aren't really that important unless they're really, really large or really, really too tight. Of course, everybody knows that when the engine heats up and the metal heats up that they want to shrink, or they'll actually expand, but they can't go outwards. They have to go inwards because of being trapped into the piston in the cylinder. So the end gaps are going to go tight. So when you have a boosted engine or you have a turbocharged motor, your end gaps need to be slightly larger than standard, normally aspirated engines, because the cylinder pressures, the temperatures when they, do their thing, get a little bit higher, and you don't want those to collapse and touch each other. So anyway, he also said that the end gap being bigger on the new ones most likely is attributed to that those rings are not just specifically for this engine, but specifically for the cylinder bore size and the ring groove size. So they make these things to fit multiple different engines, possibly multiple different engines that this thing is going to fit. So they have to make these so they fit different ones, and they do, and that's why the ring is it looks different, but will perform. That's what he said. So I'll go with that. That we're going to go ahead and run the new rings. We'll call that a learning experience. These ended up, yes, these ones with the groove on the outside of it is an oil scraper, and that is the top ring. Yes, so we're getting ready to put this thing together, and we'll make sure to keep that on video, and you guys take it easy.